All right, everybody, welcome to another edition of Average Joe's. Guess what? Joe's stoke level is high. Do you know why? Because this week we're going to tackle a homemade version of Spaghetti-Os. You guys all have a childhood memory probably about this, at least if you grew up in the 70s, 80s, and 90s like I did. So we're going to try to make this at home as close as we can and possibly better. We'll take a look. I know for sure we can do it with a little bit of a cleaner label, probably just using some things that you have around the house, right? Your various Italian seasonings, parsley, basil, oregano, onion, salt, garlic, pepper. These might be a little tough to find. These actually were ordered. We ordered those on Amazon, but those are tiny little round noodles. So your beef and pork, even though this uses a mechanically separated chicken as well, we're gonna do our best to make them look like and taste like the ones they got, maybe again, a little bit better. So let's take a look. First of all those delicious meatballs are right on top. Oh yeah. What a beautiful shade of orange. We know we're gonna have to do some things a little bit differently to achieve that level of orange. All right, guys, there it is, heated up, looking like it has always looked, that brilliant orange color, very distinct aroma that just kind of brings back those memories of childhood. Let's give it a taste. Noodles first. The first thing you notice probably is not so much the flavor, but certainly for me, the noodles, right? The noodles are very mushy, they're overdone basically. And then you get into the base itself, the sauce. It's not really a traditional red sauce. It's more like a tomato, maybe a tomatoey bisquish like. So we're probably gonna shoot for some tomatoes, some cream, some butter to get that lighter flavor, more of a tomato soup. Makes sense because it all comes from Campbell's. Campbell's makes tomato soup. Very familiar flavor. Now let's just try one of these fancy meatballs. So first thing you notice is super tiny, very smooth. The texture is very, it's so fine. It's almost like a tiny little rubber ball, basically. It gives, doesn't have a lot of flavor. So I think we can at least capture the size, but maybe try to put some more flavor in ours. So let's give it a go. Let's see if Lenny likes it. Come here, bud. What do you think? Uh-oh. Yeah, what do you think? Tasty. Good boy. Okay, we got the water boiling on the stove for the noodles. In the meantime, we're going to start putting our meatballs together. Got a pound each of ground beef and a pound of ground pork and about a quarter cup of Parmesan, freshly grated Parmesan cheese. And we're going with the seasonings. So about a teaspoon each of oregano, parsley, basil, a little bit of garlic, some red pepper to your tastes, some black pepper, some onion powder. So anytime you're making a meatball or a sausage, what we like to do is just kind of mix it all together, fry it up in the pan, and then season to taste. So you can always make some corrections. Oh, I almost forgot the salt. Put a little salt in there. We're gonna go ahead and incorporate this. Almost forgot. Egg. We're gonna do one egg in there just to help it all stick together, bind together. And we're also gonna add some breadcrumbs, I think. I'm just gonna work this together with my clean hand. Don't wanna overwork it. Rule number one with meatballs, don't overwork it. Try to keep it as not overworked as possible. Okay guys, we did our little trick. We mixed it all together, incorporated the breadcrumbs and all the seasonings and salt and the meats. Didn't overwork it, that's critical. Then we took a little sample, smashed it, put it in a pan, fried it up. Now we're gonna give it a taste, see if we need to add anything else to it. Delicious just the way it is. We're gonna go with this. We're gonna start rolling some tiny meatballs, boiling our noodles. It's all coming together. So again, the flavor is great. We tried it in the pan. Now we're gonna use a super tiny disher, kind of drop them into little balls and just go to town. So there you go. There's a raw one. We'll cook it up with the sauce and the noodles up. We'll probably fry it in the pan first, give it a little bit of browning, and then add it to the sauce with the noodles. All right, so we've got 3 cans of tomato puree. This is the 10.75 ounces, so 3 of those gives us about 33 ounces of tomato puree going in. What we're gonna do is use butter, and we don't have cream. We're gonna use half and half to try to lighten it up and season to taste. Again, remember, That's kind of the color we're going for. Pretty light tomato biscuity color. So we're gonna take this rich red tomato paste and just light it up. So we're gonna start with 3 tablespoons of butter. And then again, we're gonna add seasoning to taste. We're gonna add some half and half. We're gonna start cooking it down. It's about a half cup of chicken broth. Loosen that up a little bit. Onion powder. A little bit of the garlic. A couple teaspoons. Pepper. Black pepper, a couple teaspoons. This should really help bring out that flavor. But we're just tasting now. The flavor is really good. The color is starting to get a little bit closer to that orangish tomato soup bisque-esque like color that you see in the SpaghettiOs. We're gonna add our noodles, we're gonna fry our meatballs and then add them and just cook it all together for a little while. Okay, so we've got 10,001 tiny 1 teaspoon size meatballs all rolled up. And guess what? They're actually the exact same size as the meatballs that you get in the SpaghettiOs. So we're gonna go ahead and throw a little oil in the pan and cook a few batches. As they're done, we're gonna dump them in the sauce and let them finish cooking in there. So brown them in the pan, finish them in the sauce. All right, we're still cooking away. And the nice part is the flavor from those meatballs is really starting to incorporate in the sauce, even though they just went in. So bonus there, we're gonna keep cooking these meatballs. We'll dump the noodles in and we'll be good to go. Again, we're gonna let these cook. We're gonna throw the noodles in there. The noodles are al dente, so just barely done. We know we're gonna cook them longer in the sauce with the meatballs. So, okay, noodles al dente. We're gonna put about half of the noodles in there. Oh yeah, now it's coming together. Woo-wee! Guys, it's looking like the real deal. All right, everybody, there it is, the finished product. Check it out. You got your original SpaghettiOs on the left and the homemade version on the right. I'm ready and excited to try these both side by side and see how they do. First, I think I'll put a little bit of Parma on there. First, we're gonna go in with the homemade SpaghettiOs. Try to get a meatball, some noodles. Those flavors really go well together. Again, it looks pretty similar, but the flavor difference I feel like is gonna be huge. So let's go back to the old time SpaghettiOs. It's crazy. The difference is crazy. The textures are so different. The flavors are so different. I mean, if you could take, 20 or 30 minutes to whip up a big batch of homemade SpaghettiOs, I would do it. It'll last you a while, but hey, if you got a kid that's stuck on SpaghettiOs, that's okay too. Just remember, uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. And sometimes average is good enough. Thanks, babe.